Hi everyone. This is a weird setup, right? So today we're going to be talking about COVID-19 and how we've been coping with it, dealing with it, and how we have been de-stressing. And I want you to see my really rinky-dinky setup I have here. I have the pop filter hanging off from there, and then kind of I record these on a monitor, so there's not really much I can do because I can't connect this mic to my iPad. So that's all I have. So let's get our guests in here. And the whole gang is here. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
All right, I guess I'll go first. My name is Huli. I'm a lead team peer educator. And a fun fact about me, I guess, is I have two dogs. I don't know where they
Let me
are.
see them. You can't just tell me you have
over
dogs
there. That one is Luna, and then they'll probably that's Pablo.
Oh my God!
He's coming. This is Pablo. Oh God, he's attacking. Somebody else go. Yeah, that's it.
My name is Nicole. I'm a peer educator and I love scary movies.
My name is Charlize. I'm a peer ed and I speak 3 languages.
Wait, what are the 3 languages that you speak?
Well, aside from English, Spanish, and French.
Oh, I don't.
Oh.
So you, yeah, okay. You speak.
Je ne sais pas français, right? I don't. Right? Did I say it?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You did, yeah.
And we're joined by my special guest today, Franki, the lava lamp. Say hi, Franki. Hi. Anyway, so COVID-19, huh? That's been fun. That's been fun to deal with. Stressful time for everyone involved. So let's talk about how that was for us, right? So that first week and that when things were going down pretty much. Everything kind of happened pretty quickly. Like there was this buildup, right? I felt like there was this buildup to it that like, oh, Italy's going through stuff and other parts of the country is going through stuff. Oh, we have a confirmed case here in Broward, and everything kind of got out of hand real quick. It went from one day to, there's another case and there's another case and then there's another case. Oh, and now we can't work. We have to work remotely now, kind of from like one day to another. And that kind of just like, I don't know. I guess I'm freaking out more now than I did that first week when everything was shutting down, because it's been going on for a while. And then, there's talks about reopening too soon and stuff like that. So, that's been me.
I think I was more scared and now I'm less scared, if that makes sense. Like when it first started out and like it was all over the news, like I would wake up and every single day watch the news. But now that I've kind of like detached myself and I don't watch the news that much because like there's not much I can do, so like to a certain extent, like I can't be worrying about it all the time because it's not going to be healthy for me. So I try to like not think about it as much, so I'm not as stressed out.
Yeah, I agree with Nicole. Like I would wake up and watch the news every single day, and then it just got to the point where I'm like, I'm going to keep worrying about this every day that I wake up. So I stopped watching the news unless it was something like really important, any updates. And I just started focusing my attention somewhere else, honestly, to not have that worry.
Yeah, I felt like at the beginning everything felt like, I don't know, I felt like the world was ending in a weird way, because I think like that 1 week, like so many things like happened in my life personally, and then like 2 days later it was like, oh, like you can't go back to school, and like, oh, like work is canceled, everything's canceled. So it just felt like that week like the world just stopped. Now it feels like
it's
weird.
It's still stopped though. Things are still stopped.
Yeah.
This podcast was born out of the necessity of putting out content during a global pandemic, which has been stressful for a lot of people, I assume. For me, hasn't necessarily been too stressful. I mean, so the stressful parts of it is like dealing with things, learning to deal with things in a different way, right? Because I have my own like coping mechanisms to when I feel stressed about school or like interpersonal issues or whatever. When I'm stressed about situations that are going on in my life, I usually go to a park and just hang out. You know what I mean? You can't really go to a park and hang out. But what I have been doing is driving, and I've gotten really into working out now, which was something that I had like a bench in my room that's literally right behind this monitor. I had a bench in this room for like 4 years at this point, and I'd never used it until now. So like I've been forced to like kind of come up with like new ways to like cope when I'm feeling stressed or down. And it sucks because I like parks and I miss parks.
Yeah, I feel like the same way because like I also had like my own like ways of coping with things, you know, like I think one way, like my main way is usually like being with people, like being with friends and like talking to my friends like one-on-one versus just like on the phone. So being away from them is really hard. But you know, like we make it work. Like we do like Zoom calls, we play like games online, and it's actually really fun. And like do like movie nights and stuff like that. But
what games have you been playing?
Scriblio, I think that's how you say it.
What is Scriblio? What is that?
Okay, amazing game. I recommend it for anybody. If you have like a group of friends and you guys are like bored and it's like 3 a.m. and you don't know what to do, get on Zoom and you type in Scriblio, and it's basically a game where one person has to like they get a word and they have to draw it out, and the rest of the people have to guess what the word is.
That's Drawful.
It's called Scriblio.
That's called Drawful. That's copyright. That's the Jackbox is gonna. That's Drawful. That's literally you describe Drawful. You ever never played Drawful like on like Jackbox games? No. That's exactly what Drawful is.
Well, this one is free online.
So, is it? It's free?
Yes, it's free. It's free. It's like you
can
do it online. It's great, and it's so funny. And there's actually like a part in the game where you can like include only words that you and your friends know. So like slang and stuff. So it's like it's fun because you can like really personalize the game. So yeah.
You can put like one of your like a friend, like one of the names.
Yeah,
and
you
just,
could
like, draw them.
Yeah, you could do that, and then people have to guess what it is. Your friend.
That's funny.
It's fun.
How has everyone else been coping with it?
I usually move myself like the situation. Like if I'm stressed out, like I'll just like leave. But now I'm like so constricted because like I have nowhere to go. Like, you know, parks are closed. I can't go to my friend's house anymore. If I do hang out with like anybody, it's like 6 feet away, super far. So
yeah, I haven't seen someone that I know since this happened. And that's kind of a crazy thought to have. Like, I haven't seen anyone, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've seen, like, Snapchats, whatever. But, like, in person, I haven't seen a single person that I know other than my parents for I don't know how long at this point. I stopped counting. How long has it been at this point?
I gotta check my room for like the little like tally marks that I've been scraping every day when I wake up, and like day 25. Like I don't know. I think it's been like
at the time of this recording, it's been a minute. I don't know.
I think it's been maybe like 5-6 weeks.
Over a month. But how's that been? Having dealing with like your parents, right? Because everyone lives at home. So how has that been? Tell me about that.
Honestly, it's been so stressful. Just because, like, you know how Hispanic people are typically really loud and like kind of nosy with their kids. It's like now that I have time to sit down, watch a movie, read a book and stuff is when they decide to also be crazy and loud and walking in every 2 seconds and asking me to do something for them every 2 seconds. So it's like, yeah, you have that freedom, but you also have to do a lot at home when you're with them.
Like the same way my parents, like, they're always here now. So I'm just like, oh, I have no like free time for myself unless like I go around the block or something. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving.
So you've been like exercising outside, or you just been walking?
I've been like skating around my block.
Oh, you skate? Like roller skate or like board, like on the board?
Yeah, but and then my mom like bike rides next to me.
Even when you go outside, you're still with your parents. Is that what you said? They don't let you go out by yourself.
My mom's like, "Oh, you're going outside? I should go get some exercise." No, I would leave.
That's the point. I want to get out of here. No, yeah, I have not. There has not been a single day that I have stayed the whole 24 hours inside. I either get on my bicycle, because Miami-Dade, you can still exercise outside, essential activity. So don't even at me, people. But you can still. I've been doing that. So I've been biking, and like it's interesting to see people outside, because you see people like some people don't care, and they don't have a mask on, and they won't like move away. But it's interesting to see people just like, I'm coming on a bike, and then suddenly they're like on the other side of the street. You know what I mean? They just go on the grass. But I can't stand it. I can't stay in it stresses, it like brings down my mood so much to stay indoors. Like I've been driving.
I think like, oh, sorry, you can go.
I actually wanted to go. I don't know if this is like relevant, but I actually wanted to go like on a road trip because like the prices are so low. Go on a road trip, but then I realized like I have nowhere to stay because
the motels are closed.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. I think like the one thing that has been keeping me like somewhat like sane is like I work for CAPS at home, but I also work at a restaurant, which is like scary, and I was not gonna go. But I go, and it's actually like it's not that bad, because like the restaurant, like we just do pickups and stuff, and like we do it through a window, and I always have to wear like a mask and gloves and stuff like that. But it's actually like I get to see like my one work friend like every like 3 days out of the week, so like I feel like I have like a person. Like I go and I'm like, oh my god, my friend is here, like a person that I can talk to like is here. And like also like all the staff that works there too. But it is kind of scary and not funny, but it's like weird to see people, especially when they're outside, and how they interact with each other. It's like if they get too close, people like they just kind of like they like move away, and it's like weird because you're not used to that. But it's like also important to realize that there's like different types of stress that we all have. So like I feel like a lot of the times we clump stress into like one thing, but we actually have two types called de-stress and eustress. So eustress is the type of stress that it's like it's
I just
like
love
10
that
in the
your dog
afternoon.
I love that your dog is just barking in the background.
I know. So yeah, basically like eustress is like that thing that keeps us going. You know how like we all have to do like Zoom classes right now, and we don't want to do them, and we're like, why? I don't care anymore. But then that little like thing in the back of your head's like, do your homework, do your quiz, try. That's the good type of stress called eustress. But then we have like de-stress, the one that just kind of like stays with us persistently, even when we really don't need to be stressed. I feel like that's what a lot of us are going through, especially because like all of like we were talking about before, all of our coping mechanisms for stress are essentially gone now, and we're just kind of like confined to like our houses and our rooms, and sometimes like our families who are also going through the same thing, but we're all different, and sometimes they like react in certain ways that we don't like, or parents especially, they'll like bother you when you're trying to do something. So it's a hard time for everyone. But
yeah, like actually I have an example of eustress. Like it's helped, like because staying inside has really stressed me out. It really does. And like finals, well, I mean we just finished finals, but I should have studied more for that. So all that kind of build up and is like nerve-wracking for me. So really, honestly, that kind of forced me to like figure something else out and work. And like I said before, working out has been it. And now I have been working out every day. Well, I give myself Saturdays and Sundays off, but that's like, I think that's a good example of eustress, like leading me to do something to kind of, motivate me to work out.
So another really interesting thing is that stress affects us all differently. Like Julie said, we're all going through it, but at the same time, stress is an immediate response to an event that doesn't last long, which is the difference between having anxiety, because anxiety lasts way longer. So the brain, when it gets into fight or flight response, it goes to the amygdala, which controls our emotions, and then that goes to the pituitary gland. We get those hormones going. Eventually, we get to a memory system in the hippocampus where it's like, now I'm going to use all the information stored about past stressful events, and we're going to have a physical response as to what you're going to do now that you've confronted it. And it's interesting because a lot of people go through that in different ways. Like some people visibly get very, very stressed out and have a hard time breathing and stuff. And other people who are going through that same kind of stress may just seem like more chill about it. I don't know. It just affects us in different ways.
Yeah, I feel that because when I get there's two things that can happen when I get stressed out. It's like I get into this like laser focus. Like it's weird because I get like when I get really stressed out, like if something's not going well with like a shift at work, like I feel like this like immense pressure, and then it's like, okay, everyone shut up and like let me think about this, and then once I'm in that zone, I'm like, okay, I need to go do this and that, and it becomes very like mechanical. But like you can't interrupt me when I'm doing that. And if I'm like, and I'm a supervisor, so sometimes I'll tell people, all right, move to this table. You get me? And it's like, why? Just move to the table. I know what I'm doing at this moment. So it'll be things like that where I'm like, okay, like I need to get, and then after that, it's like, then after like this, like that moment like passes, it's like, oh, okay, I can breathe. Like I haven't been breathing.
Yeah, I think like what you were saying, Charlize, like it's important to keep that in mind, especially now that I feel like most everybody is with their families and their parents, and maybe not for a lot of us. It's like it's probably not. We're not used to being with our families for so long, or really seeing them like in general. So parents and like siblings, they deal with things way differently than you do, and it's like it's hard to also recognize how you deal with stress and how they deal with stress. And
I realized that I don't spend time at home at all. Because I used to be like, oh, I love how cold my room is. And now that I'm in my room, most of the time I'm like, yo, this room is freezing. I hate this. Like, I've never noticed how cold my room actually gets. But like, I think it's important to deal with stress in the moment. And that's like what like is recommended that you do. Because stress can like actually make you sick. So it's like this unneeded extra thing that on top of the pandemic, right? Getting too stressed out can lower your immune system, right? So it's like this is a very interesting time to get to not pay attention to that part of your body. But okay, so does anyone have like any final thoughts on stress or anything interesting that you guys have been doing to cope other than the things that we've mentioned already?
Honestly, just like a quick story time. This one time I went to a therapist for stress and anxiety, and I was asking the ways that I could get through my stress, and she told me just meditate. But then I explained to her that meditating actually gives me anxiety. I don't like closing my eyes and being quiet and staying still for too long because it gets me paranoid. And then she said, well, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, you should really try to meditate. And then,
wait, she told you she doesn't know what to tell you? Oh,
she was like, well,
therapist.
I mean, so I actually found out because I went to the gym once, and there was this lady there that was explaining this type of meditation where it's drumming. So she would bring drums, and we would all sit in a circle, and it was really cool because you got to be active, but at the same time, you're also meditating, and it has the same effect as staying still. So I think it's really important that people know that there are types of meditations and things you can do to relax that don't necessarily mean you have to lay down, close your eyes, and like not do anything. Like you can actually be active with it, and it helps you with stress.
I can relate to that because I also don't like what I don't like is, you know how they're like, oh, try to empty your mind and stuff like that? Like that infuriates me because it's really hard for me to empty my mind. So there's two things, right? So guided meditation, I hate like nothing else in this world. Don't tell me what to do. I just hate it when someone's like, oh, close your eye and think about this. I'm like, no, I don't want to. How about that? I'll think about what I want to think about. How about that? But no, like I found it's weird, but like I found this one time that I was sitting like in the backseat of like my friend's car, and I wasn't going through a good time, and I'm like, you know what, like this. I was like, I had earphones on, and this song came on. It was Gorilla Fireflies by Gorillaz. I love that song. But it went on, and I put my earphones, like I put it in, I blasted it, and I kind of just closed my eyes and just like listened to the song, and like I had like all my thoughts like floating in, and it was I don't know, dude. Like I turned into a butterfly. Dude, it was crazy.
A butterfly.
It was crazy. I felt like I was turning into. It's crazy. I was on no substances. I promise you. I felt like I was turning into the color blue, and then green was wrapping around me, and I was emerging from that.
Isn't that kind of like synesthesia? Isn't that?
I don't know what that word is, but it was amazing. I've never experienced that since or before.
It's like sorry, just to like throw that out there, and I don't know if that's what that would be, but like synesthesia is basically like when you listen to like I only know it in terms of music, where like you listen to like music and you see colors or you feel colors.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
It's like an actual thing that people have, and like I feel like that could be defined as like having a synesthesia moment. I don't know.
Dude, it was so interesting because I had my eyes closed and I saw colors as like emotions, and I was like transforming. It was the weirdest thing.
Wait, you know what that reminds me of? This is so random, but I think it's so funny. Yes, Ratatouille. I was just about to say that. Like the grape and the cheese, and he mixes them together and you start seeing colors. Like that is literally what I thought when he said that.
That's what I thought too. I was like,
yeah. I've never heard of that before. So that's a thing. Yeah. Okay. So that's not meditation, but hey, man, it worked for me, and that's the thing, right? You have to figure out what works for you.
I mean, you can kind of tie it into meditation. Like sometimes people will listen to a song that has a lot of different instruments, and they'll try to focus on the instruments at different times, and then that can kind of help clear your mind because you're focusing on something and not the thoughts that you have in your mind. So I guess it kind of ties in.
Okay. Well, with that, if no one has anything else to say, let's go ahead and wrap this episode up. Thank you guys for joining. We did like this little thing where we would sit outside because it's like a kind of de-stress thing. I don't know. I'll come up with the title at some point of this episode at some point. But thank you guys for coming. Franki is here, valued guest, and he had a lot to comment, or she had a lot to comment, excuse me. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. And as always, you are not alone. Cut that out, Waldo, please.
I'm sorry. I just would like to see how we talk about Waldo when he's not here, so that he can like see it and be like, I know.